Good morning, retailers, and welcome to our Wednesday edition of the GTS Retailer to Publisher webinars. I'm Scott Bohr, the Category Manager for Gaming Specialty Products, which includes miniatures, RPGs, and gaming accessories like dice and dice towers. And today we welcome one of our miniature vendors. Para-Bellum is the manufacturer of Conquest, The Last Argument of Kings, wonderful miniatures game, sort of a larger army with a skirmish rule set. So it's a really adaptable game. And today we're joined by Daryl McKay, Leo, and Stavros from Para-Bellum to talk about some of the exciting upcoming items they've got coming, including the Game On bundle, which is a great way to restart the game in your store. For those of you participating live with us today, you have the special gift coming to you in the form of a copy of the Conquest Companion rulebook, as well as some additional sample product that we're going to ship out to you, 2 or 3 of the different army sets that we've got available for you. And if you're not familiar with Zoom, I'll just run through real quickly how you can interact with our presenters today. If you roll your mouse over the screen, you'll see that the bar comes up down at the bottom, which is your way of interacting. If you click on the chat button there down at the bottom, you'll go to a chat window, and that will allow you to speak to the presenters. You have the option there of either messaging just the panelists through the All Panelists button, or you can click All Panelists and Attendees, and then everybody will see the message that you're sending. If you have questions during the presentation, please feel free to use that, and then we'll also make time at the end for questions as well. So without further ado, I will hand the virtual microphone over to Daryl McKay to fill you in on what's coming up with Conquest.
Thank you, Scott. Appreciate everybody being here. I promise not to go on too long, but I'm excited to show you the things we've been working on and building the community while we've been all somewhat quarantined or very quarantined this past few weeks. What's been encouraging for us at Conquest and Para-Bellum is this rate of growth for the community during this time when you can't actually play in stores, but the community is still finding great ways to hang out and grow their ranks together, as well as be very engaged with the product. So that's been very exciting for us. So let me share my screen and start the slideshow. So there we go. Can everybody see it okay? Everyone's muted, so I can't tell. I'm hoping everyone can see it okay.
I'm not seeing the screen share.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
No.
I did push share screen. Okay, here we go. Let's try again. How about now?
Oh, there you go. Now we go.
All right, perfect.
Perfect.
All right, good. Back to slideshow. Okay, so this is the quick agenda. Again, I'm going to try to move through things fairly quickly. I want tons of questions at the end. I hope that you guys are all engaged, but I don't want to drive you crazy with too much detail as well. So this gives you a quick overview of the things that we'll talk about today. Focusing on the community, like I said before, we want you to really see the facts of how the community are growing and really appreciate and understand well how the players of our game are really loving the product, but also loving to play, whether they can do it physically or virtually. The online club and club participation has been growing. We have some new product launches coming out. And then as Scott said, we have a great bundle to welcome stores back in person with some values and some sales, because we all know that if there's something the consumer loves more than being in-person shopping, it's to get a sale. So we're going to make sure that we have all of those things covered. So we're calling it the Game On. We're excited for retailers and players to start coming back in person. We know that early on, some of it might be curbside pickup, but it feels like the tide is turning and people will be back to playing in person, even at a small level. So we've put together some opportunities for retailers around Conquest, the discounted bundle, special posters and banners for store merchandising, postcards that you can send to your customers to welcome them back to your store and let them know you're reopening, social media art so you can share the fact that you're reopening your store with some, I think, pretty iconic and excellent artwork around our game that really highlights the fact that you are a gaming store. And then we're going to also be doing social shares for retailers who are purchasing the Game On Bundle or just have a great Conquest display and do Conquest events already in their stores, to make sure that, again, our community is aware that your store is back open for business and is back open for Conquest. So that's the point that we're really trying to make in this webinar, is that we know it's been a difficult period of time for so many people. We're excited to say, game on. So our community is growing. We've been getting a lot of social media engagement. Leo and his team put together some great Conquest contests, Colors of Conquest, our painting contest on social media. We did Faces of Conquest that we will do again, around people showing themselves working with their miniatures, Stories of Conquest, online storytelling and gaming. And maybe, Leo, this is a good place for you to jump in, actually, and say a little bit more detail about what we're doing with those
Yeah, definitely. So Colors of Conquest, Stories of Conquest, or Faces of Conquest, all these programs are there to help our community see for themselves how active we actually are. Now, especially right now with the whole Corona situation and how we've all been on lockdown, it's very difficult to see, the actual community growing. So we designed these events to make sure that we have a lot of engagement on our social media and to show people, our community is healthy and growing. And this allowed us to start coming out of the lockdown with a community stronger than the one we had going in. So we're very excited about that. Colors of Conquest is this monthly painting competition that we run. We try to make sure, we feature as many people as possible, and we show the great work that people are doing. Stories of Conquest is a format in which we play an RPG throughout the world of Ea. This is the world that Conquest takes place in. So we try to pretty much expand the lore a little bit through our eyes. Hobby Hangouts is, imagine like we all sit together, we talk about the game, we do FAQs, and we engage with our community as much as possible. And of course, we are planning on even more gaming content for our new and enhanced website.
Yeah, and I think some of the interesting thing that Leo passes along to me, and I'm grateful for it, is the communication from our Vanguards. And we're going to talk about the Vanguard program in a few minutes, but you can see like the Vanguards, there's been quite a few quotes I've sent along to the team at GTS about how excited they are about what they're seeing, even though they're not physically playing in store at the moment. So again, activity. One of our, the community, one of the members of the community set up a Google map of where players that he's encountered and have reached out to him are playing, and then opened it up and allowed other people to join so that you can start to see where the players are. This is all driven by the community, which is quite exciting. There's a video that one of our folks posted on Diced about painting, and there's been thousands of views of that. And one of the strengths of the product line is that fans love to paint our miniatures. That's one of the hallmarks of our product, is that the sculpting is so well done that fans can really engage in that part of the hobby. This is, again, community driven. That's one of the things that's very exciting for us. The community has driven some tabletop simulator options. One of our Vanguards created a community website called underspire.net with a tremendous amount of what we would call, not necessarily publisher driven content, but what content they're interested in. And that's very exciting for us to see that level of engagement. And you can see how many things are on this website, driven again by the community. So that to us is very cool. And you'll see at the end of this presentation, the Facebook groups and clubs that you can ask to join and see the activity level that is happening. Leo, we're back to you in the Vanguard program if you want to pick up.
Yeah, thank you. So The Vanguards are essentially our volunteer players, but we wanted to take a little bit of a different approach to the Vanguards. We don't just want the Vanguards at the end of the day to be glorified players. We want to help them become community builders, content creators, and leaders of themselves. So we try to make sure that we promote all of the good content that they create. We try to help out, like you saw with our Vanguard Auticus that he created, underspire.net. We try to help them and motivate it to create communities of their own and create the content they always wanted to do. I've had plenty of Vanguards, for example, that they said, well, I'd like to see more content. And I always told them, why not you? Why are you not making the content? And I went and they interviewed me and we did things and we sponsor their channels and try to help them out, build their own communities around them. And it is very rewarding to see how their communities are growing, because they're not just players playing a game every week at a store, but now they play the game at your store, and they do work after that. They help people group them around this community they build around the stores, and that's very important. Now, so essentially, what's very important is that we tell Vanguards from the very beginning that although they help us promote the game, the ones that are running the show, of course, are the retailers. Everything that's happening in your stores, you have the final word over it. And it's very important for us that and that you approve of your Vanguards. And even more important, if you want to, you can actually recommend the Vanguards, a player that you want it to be a Vanguard, to us. We'll help them out. We sponsor them every month. That helps you a lot as well, because players in your area get to see the actual new miniatures right there on the table, rather than just images on our social media. And Vanguards became our focal point around which we are building our community, with retailer stores as its very core center. Of course, if you want to recommend a Vanguard or you want to become one for your store, you can see my information on the screen. You can always shoot me an email. Can give you all the information about the program, what it entails, and how they will be able to help you grow your Conquest community in your area and your store.
And Scott, will this deck be available to the retailers after?
Yes, we can make that available. We've transmitted it to the sales teams, and they can transmit it to retailers from there.
Great. Just so that I can have that contact info without having to write it all down.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Leo has a lot of letters in that email address right there. That's not a quick jot down.
This is Greek names tend to be a little larger, a little longer, and not larger than you would expect. But yeah,
I don't want people panicking, thinking they have to try to catch up with that.
But yeah, I would be more than happy to see what you guys to help you as much as I can, to help create a community around those Vanguards. And they are there to help the retailers. They're there to build and establish the communities, to promote Conquest in the areas and build them. And we've seen tremendous success from our program so far.
No, it's great, Leo. Thank you. And we are really focused on retailers, of course. We all know that in miniature gaming, that they're critically important to have brick and mortar retailers. And we're excited when brick and mortar retailers as well are excited about our product. So this is one retailer who previewed the product from one of the fellow distributors up in Canada, and did a YouTube video, and we're thrilled when we can see that it was just organic and pretty exciting. So we're very willing to help retailers promote themselves as well on social. We shared his information on our social channels. We're going to encourage you to share your information on our information on your social channels. If we can build the community together, everybody wins. So you'll see, obviously retailer features on social. If you create videos, we're going to show them to you. We're going to talk about your OP events. We're going to refer consumers to you. We have an event calendar now live on our website, and the newsletter available now that we're going to start up as well for retailers to get all of the information. So that, we're really working hard to make sure retailers have the tools they need. And from a social presence, both on our boosted posts as well as our organic posts, we're getting a combined impressions of about over 500,000 a week now. And you can see all the different areas that we have social presence with. And it's encouraging. You know, just last week on Facebook alone, we had 115,000 impressions from one boosted post. So, you know, that's pretty encouraging. And that Instagram post that you see there, I think was around 30 or 40,000 impressions. So that's generating interest in the game. We're seeing it through the level of communication that's coming directly to us through the Contact Us link on our website. And eventually those become your customers. That's our hope. That's our goal. And a brand new catalog. We're also very excited to show you that. Let me see if that works the way it's supposed to. Yes. So, you know, you can flip through this at your leisure. I got to move this Zoom screen out of the way for the button. But this gives you the ability to flip through our catalog of all the different products, new products as well as products that are already out. So here you'll see some of the upcoming releases. You'll see more of it's supported by each of the factions. So this is available at any given time. We're happy to have you share it as well. Gotta go back in the slideshow, sorry. I think it's really important to us that you know about this program and that you have these catalogs available to show your customers. So when they ask about the product, they can say, you can say, hey, let me show you the product. Why is my slideshow not working? It was working.
I think it's the built-in bug that it always stops working during a presentation. I think it's we try to make it really.
Oh, and it was. No, I apologize. I don't know why it's not restoring. Well, I will. That's what I agree with this. More than one way to win.
There you go.
This is a one-stop page where viewers can easily find all the available resources on the world and on game building. And Scott, can we unmute Stavros?
Yeah, we can. Let me do that. It's also, the audio got a little. Okay.
Can you hear me?
The audio is a little choppy right now, but I can hear you intermittently.
Maybe I'm going to just stop sharing my screen for a second and maybe reboot it. Let's see what happens then. All right, I'll share again and see if that works better. Is that any better?
It seems to be better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's using Zoom these days, so it's a busy time. Well, I don't see that Stavros is unmuted yet, so.
I don't see him on the list anymore.
Oh, you're right. He was there.
Yeah.
Leo, are you still there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the quick start rules that were designed to help the
definitely.
retailer start people off?
So there are a couple things here. The concept of Conquest overall is a game that is very easy to learn how to play, and it gets harder to master. The thing with Conquest is that, first of all, what you're saying right now, it's the quick start rules, is something that you can download, and this is something that you can get. The other thing we've created for Vanguards, but retailers as well, is that we've designed a way to demo the game that only takes about 25 minutes and allows the player to really very quickly grasp the game from the very beginning, starting from no knowledge to the game into being able to make informed decisions by round 2 or 3 of playing the game. So along with the rules that you can find and read about the game and the videos we've created about the game, you'll be able to find the quick start guide it's very useful, for new players to follow it up and read step by step how to play the game. But also, you can always we can always provide you with a way of how to explain the game. And of course, this is something that we always train our Vanguards to do as well and help you out. The purpose of the quick start rules is to, as we say, to learn the basic moves in just 8 pages. It's there to help you, first of all, understand the game for yourself, but then for new players, to get a good grasp of how the game goes before they buy into it. So we want to try and create all the tools you need to be able to explain the game and your players to understand it before they have their first match.
Awesome. Yeah, we think that, we know that miniatures is sometimes feels, overwhelming. And our goal is to let people approach really the consumer in a place that they can handle it. If they're really interested in seeing everything, they can start out all the way in, or if they want to start out slowly, we give them that opportunity. And I think that's an exciting part of this program. So that gives you an overview of the community events that we're doing. And these are the bundles that we talked about in the beginning, significantly discounted to allow retailers to offer a special to their returning customers. We have 2 different size bundles. They'll all come with a lot of the bonus, what I'll call merchandising materials, posters, postcards, mini posters, catalogs, that kind of thing. The bigger one also includes a T-shirt for Conquest so that the retailer can wear it, the Vanguard can wear it. I think Vanguards probably have them already, right, Leo?
Yeah, and we do some exclusive stuff for them as well. It's the our incentive to keep helping you and keep coming to your store and play.
Perfect. So that could be, the T-shirt could be something the retailer wears around the store or uses as a prize. So the goal was to create something that would be of great value and a really great way to start off with Conquest in your store if you haven't carried Conquest so far. This is a great assortment of product. Both bundles have really good assortments of product that can allow people to start off well in the game, as well as offer some products to some of the gamers who have been playing it for a while. So here's, oops, just jumped ahead. It's a little touchy. These are brand new products that just released. Focus this time around on the Dweghome and the Nords so that we can expand those assortments of products. So we'll try to focus on a different faction at different times so that there's a collection of new products for that faction. And then our goal is each month to have a cadence of product releases so that every month there's at least something for each of the factions if possible. But the Nords, the Ogres have been very, very popular. I think that's been the #1 new seller so far from this group that just came out. And then coming up very soon, June 15th, we have the new companion rulebook, which you're all going to be getting a copy of. And there's an example of some of the art in the book. We have the 100 Kingdoms Drill Master coming out, and we have the army card sets for each faction. And Leo, I'm going to put you on the spot again, but part of the army card sets were the new counters. Do you want to talk a little bit about those since you just picked them up and tell people what they are since it's new for us?
Yeah, so big part of the army, let's say merchandise packs, essentially. These are accessories you can get for your faction. You can either get the cards that are being used for Magic in a different art style, but you can also get wound markers. Essentially what these are, they're simple dials that they're used to track wounds and so on with your faction's logo and insignia in there. And this is our way of creating products that are useful for the player to have, let's say, your spell cards and be able to use them during a game and have easy access and reference from them, but at the same time really give that extra aesthetic touch. So you're not just bringing your miniature, but you're creating a theme around that with your cards, with the deck box, with wound markers and so on. So this is a really nice way for a player to supplement their force and just to create this theme around that, along with the shirts and so on. So we create the whole package there for a player.
That's great. Thank you, Leo. You'll see that pictured in the bottom right corner. And then one of our most highly anticipated releases is the Avatara, which comes out in July as part of the Expires expansion with a Lineage Highborn. extra large miniature figure. I know that sounds like an oxymoron, but it's a very cool figure that is pictured in the catalog. And I know, Scott, you have the imagery as well available to people. So you can see there's products coming out. We have products planned every month with the exception of December. We're going to have a little bit larger assortment of products in November so that you're all on shelf as we go into the key holiday season. So you'll have almost 2 months worth of launches in November that we have planned. And then some faction expansions into 2021. So you're going to start seeing a regular cadence of products coming out and highly anticipated based on what the gamers are telling us. So we're getting close to the end. Thanks for hanging in there. I've added some online links for you so that you can see quickly as a reference guide the places to go to see all of these things in action. And then, as I mentioned before, the Facebook groups to follow or to ask for. I didn't mean to go back quite through that fast. These are all Facebook community groups that are actively engaged from all around the world. So that's a lot of exciting things that are happening around Conquest in the community. And with that, I would love to take any questions or follow up with anybody on anything. This gives you an overview of our contact information as well.
Great, and all this information will also be added to the YouTube video at the end. So there'll be the ability for people to go back and check on this. This deck will be available through your sales rep through GTS. There was one question in the chat. Once again, if you are interested in a dialogue or have a question about the game, just hover your mouse over the screen, click on that chat window down at the bottom, and then you'll be able to answer or ask a question there as well. There is a question from Julio, and the question is, he says, wargaming is not so strong in our store, low budget customer base, but we have tried to move games like Rune Wars and Infinity. Is this anything like those games? So would one of you be able to give just kind of an elevator pitch of what the game is like and how it's played?
Thank you, Leo.
Yeah, I could take that. So quick answer would be no. It's not like those games. So essentially, what happens with Conquest? It's a mass battle rank and file system, and you have two distinct rules that make up the game, that make the game unique. One is that you do not move everything in one turn. So what they mean is that every regiment that you have on the table has a command card associated to it. At the beginning of the turn, you take these cards, you arrange them into a deck, and essentially you predetermine the order of activations for that turn. That's a very different take for the game. And the other thing is that there's no deployment. So when you start playing the game, there's nothing on the table. Essentially, what happens is that you have your light, medium, and heavy regiments. And as the game progresses, the light regiments come onto the table first, and then they push up a line, a reinforcement line. Think of it as a line of scrimmage. That the further down it goes onto the table, the heavier regiments can come in from the side. So these two rules make for a dynamic game. It plays in about an hour and 50 minutes to about an hour and a half. That's for the average of 2,000 points. Think about 70 to 80 miniatures. And very easy to learn. And the entirety of the complexity of the tactics go into creating your deck, your command stack, and your orders, rather than the complexity of the rules. So that's pretty much what Conquest is.
That's great. Thanks, Leo.
Aaron also asks, what is the approximate entry cost minus hobby and paint supplies? And if you're just buying the game components, what are they looking at to get into the game? The answer I can give immediately is that the 2-player starter box includes enough to get you started, and that's $100 retail, and that includes enough for 2 factions to play a basic game. And I don't know if Leo or Daryl has an expansion on that for getting to that 2,000 points. What's required for that?
Now, Leo, do you want to take the 2,000 point question?
Yeah. So yeah, after that, by grabbing, usually what you should expect is that a lot of the people, when they walk in and they start Conquest with a friend, expect them that they usually buy 2 boxes and they split it upon themselves. So right off the bat, with about $100 each, they're at about 1100 to 1200 strong, that point strong. So that's out of the 2000 points that they used. Then from there on, I will tell you that each player is going to purchase from you about 2 or 3 characters. It's the usual amount, and we're looking towards 8 to 9 regiments total. So for a 100 Kingdoms or Aspires player that they want to build off the basic set, they're probably going to get another 5 or 6 expansion sets, and then from there on, it's most likely that they would like to expand over that to have different choice for the game. So I would say that then 2 starter sets split between 2 players, and then an extra about 7 or 8, let's say, to be more precise, expansion sets would be enough to get them started. But I will tell you that the most likely it will be that they will exceed the 2,000 points, because they will want all these different aspects of the faction. And what we're trying to do is that eventually the game is going to build up to the point that you will be able to create armies for specific sub themes. For example, the nobility or the religious soldiers of the, let's say, the 100 Kingdoms. And so that upon itself will encourage a player to collect more of that faction rather than just stay in a 2,000 point army.
All right. There's another question from Galaxy J7. I'm not sure who that is. So I have a lot of miniature war games in my store already. How do we add this game to players dedicated to other war games? So how do you engage other players? For going back to Julio's question, if they have a small store, how do they get more people involved?
Daryl, do you mind me taking that?
No, go ahead. I was going to say, obviously the Vanguards will be critical in that and be helpful.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, one of the anecdotes that I usually use, I have this example of a Vanguard who, because we give them this coupon that they get, we sponsor them every month with some product. He was going every week to do demos, and he couldn't put a demo in. So he told me, Leo, I don't think I should be getting the coupon. And I said, don't worry, hang in there, because it's commitment from the side of the Vanguard that helps a lot. And I tell him, keep going. And eventually he got some players to play the game, because a lot of the times, trust me, it really has for a player to just play the game, to try out the game. We feel very confident in the actual rules of the game and the great deals that we have for players to start, that this is quite a point on its own. So what happened with this Vanguard is that after 3 months after that initial demo, right now they have about 8 or 9 players in the store, and another 4 they're building their armies. So that was an incredible burst of new players there, simply because we tell our Vanguards and we make sure that they're consistent and persistent, that they help new players. We provide them with product and the new miniatures to help give demos to new prospective customers for the stores, and then eventually you see that they start building the community. So you will find new Conquest players even in stores that they're predominantly play another game. So I would say that Vanguards are critical to this, and we supply you with enough material, and we do a lot of promotion on our end to make sure that you will create a strong and sustainable Conquest community at your store.
I'll also just add in that the 2-player core set is a tremendous value. Everybody that we talked to about it, the amount of miniature product you get in a set and the size of the box, everyone is just blown away by how much value there is. And that's a great way to get people started in your game, is when they feel like they're getting so much more than they are from other competitive games.
I have a copy of that 2-player starter set, and I can tell you that thing is a brick. It is bottom to top sprue, and it's all miniatures. So it's a really great value, and there's a lot of product in there to play with. So
yeah, when people see the box, they think there's like styrofoam stuffed in the bottom, and there isn't. It's totally full.
There is no insert. That is floor to ceiling sprue. So it's an enormous value when you compare it to other games where you open the box and half of that box is another box inside that's just taking it there.
Right.
So
can you guys hear me?
Yes.
We can hear you, Stavros. Welcome.
Hi. Sorry, technical issues over here. I think I joined as an attendee in the beginning. I don't know how I did that. One little issue I wanted to address regarding how to introduce the game is that particularly for veteran players, the game was designed in such a way that the main appeal was exactly to veteran players. Right now, most of the wargaming community has moved to the, let's call it skirmish style of game, where each troop moves individually. They don't move as a cohesive block. And that's because usually skirmish games are faster. So what we did is create a block game in which units move as regiments, because there is a very large gap in the market there right now. But that plays in the skirmish times. So I would like to point out again that the game plays in about an hour to an hour and a half, which is very fast for a mass battle game. So a large part of the appeal is that it's mass battle, but it plays quickly. And of course the miniatures. We are, with the exception of one other company, I think we're pretty much the only company with a full plastics troop range.
Right.
So between the two of these things, it's an easy sell. We also made a point of having the game designed by Alessio Cavatore, who's a very recognized name in the industry. So we've made everything possible to give this war game the full, let's say, war game pedigree treatment. That about sums it up for me.
One other thing I'll throw in, all of the product is made either in the US or in Greece, which I think also sets us apart from many other war games. There's no Chinese content at all in this product.
True.
That's great. The support that I've seen from the company in terms of what they're doing on Facebook, what they're doing on Instagram, the marketing and promotion side of things is also an excellent seller for the game. You'll get people interested in the game because of something they saw in a friend's post or something they saw through the Facebook channel. So it's that alone is an excellent motivator, as well as adding in the fact that you've got the Vanguards available to help teach people to learn the game in the store.
Yeah, there's no question. Leo is doing a tremendous job with the community and building the Vanguard program. Stavros knows gaming. He knows more in his little finger than I will ever know in my lifetime. So, you know, you've got people who are really dedicated to helping the community grow and feel good about their hobby, because that's what this is. It's a hobby that should be enjoyable and it should be fulfilling for them for their relaxation time.
So Galaxy J7 did follow up with a question. So this is a USA made game. You mentioned that the product was made either in the United States or in Greece. Is that correct?
That's correct. And Stavros and Leo are in Greece. I am based in the US. And the design of the game, Stavros, you can certainly elaborate more on this, was all done in Greece, correct?
Yeah, so the way it goes is the legal entity is incorporated in Cyprus, the design department is in Greece, and the production department is in the US. Nice and simple.
Yes.
But yes, the core box and all the plastics are fully US made. The resins are made in Greece. And that's marked in the box clearly made in the EU. The reason is we were able to, in Greece, get fantastic quality. It's something that I like bragging about our resins. They're made literally by jewelers here in Greece, and you can tell. Open any one of them, look at them, compare them to market standard, and you'll see what we mean. So that's why we kept the resins in Greece, but the plastics are being produced in the US, as well as the packaging of the product for the US. In Europe, we package in Europe, but still produce the plastics in the US.
And I will say, as a hobbyist painter, not very good, but still learning, these are fantastic models to paint. They are they're full of rich detail. There's a lot of just a lot you can do with them. So it's fantastic to have.
Thank you. Any other questions?
No new questions. Any other questions, please feel free to go ahead and drop those in the chat. Otherwise, we'll wrap things up. But I do want to just remind you that if you're attending live today, you'll receive a copy of the Conquest Companion, the upcoming rulebook, when it releases. We don't have those in hand yet. We're waiting for the release date on those, so you'll get those at a future date in your orders. And more immediately, we've got some sample product available that we'll go ahead and ship out. These are full boxes, not the starter set, but expansion sets that we'll send your direction as part of a thank you for attending the webinar. One other thing I will mention is that the Conquest 2-player starter has been a part of our demo program through GTS. And so if you don't already have a copy of the demo and you'd like to get one, we can get that out to you as well.
Uh-oh. Scott, you froze. Or I froze.
No, it's we're in live.
Well,
Oh, there he's back. He's back.
Am I back? Okay.
Yep.
So what was the last thing you heard?
The demo program.
Okay.
You said if you would like the demo program, and then you froze.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. Manuel, who's Galaxy J7, just asked, are there demos available? And yeah, that's what I was just getting to, is that the GTS demo program does include the 2-player starter. So you can ask for a demo copy through GTS. That would cost the retailer 25% of MSRP, and then you'll have a demo. Only the demo is available right now, or only the core starter set is a demo available product. Expansions are not available through the demo program.
We do have, there's a free demo in the bigger bundle, free copy of the core player set too, as part of the bundle reward as well.
Right, the Warlord level bundle. And I'll include the SKUs for that through GTS as well here in the chat just in a moment. And then also include that information in the YouTube video when it goes live. As he said, those bundles do include a lot of organized play. There's organized play kits, starter sets, and a lot of products so that you can really fill out a wall display of the product. That's with the Warlord bundle. The general bundle is a little smaller. Doesn't include quite as much in the way of demo product, but it's got a lot of content for people just getting into the game. So it's a great deal. Any other questions before we wrap things up? I'll just put those codes in this chat window here.
Well, I will say, I just want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank the community that's been supporting the game so far. You know, we are quite new for everybody that isn't aware. First product shipped less than a year ago. So this is still very much a new game. And we're excited to be bringing it to you and excited to show you the quality, not only just of the figures, but of the lore and the story as well. There's a lot of effort and activity around this, and we just want to make sure everyone can see it. And you know, it may not be for every store and every retailer, but it's going to be for anybody that has a significant miniatures program. This is a game that's going to get some market share.
And I will just add also the story, the lore, and the design of the models really stands out. It really pops off the shelf. So I think there's a great opportunity there for people to just see it and say, wow, what is that? And get interested that way. So excellent, something to bring into your store. And we really appreciate the partnership that we have with Para-Bellum. Look forward to growing that partnership through our retailers as well as through Para-Bellum's interactions as well. So thank you very much for that. I don't see any additional questions, so I think we'll wrap it up here. Thank you very much for your time. Leo and Stavros, thank you for joining as well. Thank you again to our retailers. We're really hopeful that as things turn the corner and stores start to reopen, that more and more of you will be joining us in Conquest and playing the game in store. And this is a great opportunity for you to get involved and be ready when those doors open. Thank you again. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye, Scott.
Thanks.